Why was it so important for you to shut LeVar Ball up in that game against the Bruins? Because you sure did.
Oh, it wasn't necessarily important, but it was just something that was on my mind. We all know what was said, and it gave our team extra motivation. And honestly, the most part for me, I just didn't want to lose to the game.
In case people don't know, what was said?
He said we were a tune-up game for the Final Four.
We see how that tune-up game played out.
Yeah, we took that personally.
De'Aaron, it's good to see you, bro. Good luck in this upcoming draft. Got to ask you this question, though. We've been talking about point guards, and obviously you hear the name Lonzo Ball coming up so often. I want to know how that makes you feel, because I think it's safe to say the one person who doesn't believe that Lonzo Ball is better than him as a point guard would happen to be you. It's an assumption. I didn't ask you, but I'm assuming that's how you feel.
I'm fine with it. You know, I don't really care where we're drafted at the end of the day. You know, I've said it before that we got to play basketball. We're going to play each other. And like I said, the draft picks doesn't matter. You know, people have been the #1 pick before and, you know, haven't panned out. People have been, you know, Isaiah Thomas was the last pick, and you see how he's panned out. So I'm fine with it. End of the day, we both got to step on the court and lace up our shoes.
De'Aaron, though, I put myself in your position, and I got to be thinking, why aren't I perceived as higher up, in the sense that you come from a program that produces NBA players left and right. You play the same position as Lonzo. Going into that game, everyone was looking. I mentioned on TV, we'll see how he does against De'Aaron Fox, because Lonzo's been the centerpiece of the story for the most part in college ball. And then you totally got him on both ends of the floor. 39 points is an ungodly number of points to score in college, let alone in an important tournament game. You killed him on defense, and you're the fastest thing that anyone's seen with a ball since, like, John Wall. So why do you think you aren't perceived as the #1 or at least #2 overall pick?
For me, necessarily, I didn't shoot the ball well this past year from 3. I'm fine with that. You know, everyone goes through their struggles, but, you know, I'm working on it. And I feel like that's the main part of my game that people, you know, criticize. So I'm working, like I said, I'm working on it. I feel like I'm gonna shoot the NBA 3 ball fine, but you got people that would doubt that, and that's probably why, you know, I'm not, you know, as highly touted as those other guys.
I'm guilty of that, De'Aaron, because that's the one knock.
That's an acquirable skill, by the way.
That's the one knock that I would have against you. I think it was like 24, 26% that you shot from three-point range. I was concerned about that simply because of today's NBA game. I think all the other requisite skills, you have that in abundance. I'm not worried about that at all. But considering the way that the NBA game is played today, talk to America about what you believe specifically you bring to the table that will make you an elite point guard in the NBA for years to come.
As fast as the NBA game is, I feel like my speed would definitely complement it. And just being able to play fast and make plays while, you know, going 100 miles per hour. We've seen John Wall do it for the last few years, and this playoffs he was playing amazing. I feel like if I can get my level of playmaking up to his, you know, I feel like it's nothing that I can't do in the league.
You mentioned
what has he told you?
Who do you most compare your game with?
You know, I've seen a lot of comparisons to John. I've seen a lot to Mike Conley, just the in-between game floaters, either hand. So, I mean, I like both of those comparisons. My favorite player is Russell Westbrook. I like the way he plays. You know, he's playing hard all the time. So that's one thing that I really take from Russell's game, just tenacity offensively and defensively, just being able to keep coming at you in a variety of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of fast with the ball and aggressive, let me ask you about the shot, though, De'Aaron, because in today's game, that is so important. The fact that yours isn't there yet from the outside, I know there are only so many hours in the day to practice everything, but does that mean you simply haven't put the work in yet on your shot compared to the other components of your game? Is that something you just naturally aren't as good at as some of the other stuff? Because shooting is an acquirable skill. We've seen guys become shooters. Why do you think your shot isn't there yet?
I really struggled at Kentucky, more so in the beginning of the year. End of the year, I started making shots, but shooting never been a problem for me besides this past year, but that's when people were watching me. I shot the ball well in high school. You know, people are going to say it's a different game, but I'm going to say this, and I actually got to the basket in college easier than I did in high school. So I didn't really see that game, you know, any differently. But, you know, in the NBA, you know, the three-point line is a lot farther back. You're going to be playing a lot tougher defense. So all I can say is, you know, I'm going to put the time in the gym, and I feel like it'll pay off.
I know that you don't have, you don't care where you get drafted as long as you get drafted, obviously. But is there a particular team, a particular system that you believe is ideal for your requisite level of skill?
Not necessarily. A lot of teams in the NBA right now are playing a lot faster pace, shooting a lot more threes than it was, a few years back. But, I feel like at the point guard position, since I'm working on it, I feel like I'll become a capable three-point shooter. But getting to the basket and being able to kick to shooters, I feel like that's what I did. I had Malik shooting, Derek, Dom, a lot of guys on our team that can knock down shots. So for what I had to do, just beat my man, pick and roll or in isolation, being able to finish at the rim or kicking it out. And I feel like at the point guard position, that's really what I brought to the table this past year.
Darren, before we let you go, Dick Vitale said if he had to put money on one player to be an NBA superstar in this draft class, it would be you. What's your reaction when you hear that?
Oh, man, when I heard that, it's just a blessing. I've been listening to Dick Vitale talk for years, his commentary on games. And for someone as highly touted as him to say that about me, for me, it's just an honor just to be in that position.